Welcome to Palace to the Core. My name is Stephen Dawes. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest Crystal Palace news, views and reviews. Today I'm talking about the Fulham match, so if you haven't seen it yet, do go and check it out and then come back and hear what I have to say about the situation. I knew it was going to be a tough game. I knew it would be because, we've got lots of injuries. We've got Will Hughes out, suspended, so I knew it was going to be a tough game. Didn't quite foresee how bad things were going to be for us in the game. Obviously Fulham are a very good team. They're playing really well at the moment. They they play a very similar way to us, high press, high tempo games, so it was always going to be a tough one for us to do well in. And but we did have a few changes as well. Mark Gahey came into the middle with Justin Devaney. He was in there as well for his Palace debut, his senior team debut anyway, and that was fantastic to see him in there. Great to see them coming through, and obviously Oliver Glasner giving him the chance to do it. No Doucouré from the beginning, which I think was probably because he wasn't fully fit or anything like that. Also no Chris Richards. He was also on the bench but didn't play at all in the game, so I think he's probably not 100% fit either. As I say, I wasn't expecting a huge amount from this game, but as it started, I felt that we were actually Oliver Glasner in the post-match interview summed it up quite well. In fact, he was actually, you could see he was quite annoyed, quite frustrated by the whole situation. You could see that during the interview, and also during the game he was screaming on the touchline, telling them to push up and to get forward and stuff like that, which we just weren't doing enough of that. We were, as he said, we were too slow, and we just weren't doing it. Too many mistakes, and we were too slow, and we were too slow. In the first half we were passing the ball around, and obviously Fulham were having their chances as well. Fulham were actually having probably more luck in terms of their chances than we were. They seemed to be the ones that looked like they were going to get something out of the game first. Again, trying that, which a lot of teams have tried to, play through the lines and then have someone on the overrun. Something which a lot of clubs seem to be doing quite well at us with. Maybe because we haven't got a lot of width at the back, so I think that's probably one of the reasons why they like to try that. And we dealt with them okay. I mean, we did make a few mistakes here and there, but in general we dealt with them okay. I felt the defence was okay, perhaps not at its best that it's been. Obviously we didn't have Gahey at the back with him, but yeah, he was all right. I mean, we didn't do too badly in that sense of the word, but I just felt that we were just too slow in the first half. We were, we'd get the ball in midfield and we would just pass it left, right, and then go forward and then go back and then go all the way back to the keeper. It was that sort of thing that Oliver Glasner has spoken up before about, and saying he doesn't want him to do that. But I think it was just a little bit of lack of confidence, perhaps a little bit of lack of self-belief. And with all due respect to Devaney and Gahey in the middle, we had no real steel in the middle at all. Fulham were able to get through fairly easily whenever they seemed to want to, and by comparison, when we tried to then counter back, we were so slow at doing it that Fulham were back and set by the time we actually got anywhere near their box. So it was one of those things where we just didn't have the impetus to actually do it. I mean, Mateta was doing his best. He was trying to stay on the shoulder of the defender and trying to be available for the balls over the top or going through and things like that. But obviously he's just not getting the service that he was getting last season with Elise, and I think that's the problem as to why he's not scoring very many goals at the moment. Obviously he is scoring, but not quite as prolific as he was before, because I think he's just not getting the service, and he's having to do a lot of the work himself, which is not something I think he flourishes with. He flourishes with a good service. So, but towards the end of the first half, I felt that we were starting to get in a little bit of our stride going. We were starting to pass the ball a bit better, keeping hold of it a bit better, and maybe starting to dictate the game a little bit. Then, just at that period of time, Lacroix made a mistake at the back. The ball went to the Fulham player, and they scored from it. And that was disappointing, because I thought Lacroix up until that point had played really well. He'd put in some really good last minute tackles. I felt that he was solid for most of the time apart from that. But yeah, just made that mistake, and it led to the goal just before half time, which was disappointing. and after that goal we seemed to lose whatever impetus we had left. Second half we kind of came out and tried to do a bit more, but Fulham, to be honest, were just walking through us fairly easily, and when we had the ball, we weren't really a threat, I don't think. We made a couple of chances. There was a chance cleared off the line, a Mateta chance cleared off the line by Anderson, but it was sporadic and it wasn't really anything definitive. So I think it was a very disappointing situation. And then of course they got the second goal in the second half, and that was really a bit of the death knell. But of course before that happened, Daichi Kamada got himself sent off. It was a sending off. I mean, he went in high, his foot was high, studs were showing, side of the leg of the Fulham player. It was a red card, and by that point really the game was over, because we were 1-0 down without a midfielder, and I think by that point it was just game over for us really. Oliver Glasner was very, not critical, but he certainly did say, he said we made too many mistakes, we were too slow, and and he said you can't do that at this level. And I think he's very aware of the situation. He did try to tinker with the players and bring players in. He brought in another couple of young players to try and get things moving, but by that point it was 80 odd minutes and they didn't really have much that they could do at that point. And even though he did try to move players around a little bit, I just think that perhaps it made it worse, because then you had players playing in another position and they didn't have time to get used to it. So I think it was probably just one of those days. It was a game that we were going to have to chalk up and say that Fulham were better on the day, and we're just going to have to put it down to experience and move on to the next game after the international break. Oliver Glasner was asked if anyone's going to be back after the international break, and he said maybe one or two, but he really can't say. Obviously Will Hughes will be back, but he can't really say if any of the injured players are going to be back by that point. Doucouré, he didn't play from the beginning because he didn't feel he was fit enough, and to be honest Doucouré didn't look fit. He looks like he was trying, but he didn't look fit enough to be playing, to be honest with you. And I don't think there was any player out there really that you could say had a good game. I think Mateta tried, but obviously wasn't going to be getting much service up there. I think Lacroix had a good game. I think Chalobah had a decent game. I think Devaney in the middle, I think, had a decent game. I think he did put in some good passes. But I think on your debut you want a bit more support, and I think there wasn't really any support there for him, which is it's a shame for him. And Oliver Glasner said that he did okay, so I don't know whether that means he's going to get another shot at it or not. I don't know, but let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. I would obviously like to hear. And we have a little bit of a break now before the next game, so hopefully that means that we can rest and recuperate and play a little bit better in the next game. And let me know down in the comment section anyway what you think, and I will see you next time.